Elevate, the first team to secure their spot at the Major. We now find our way to an IG and Fury matchup that I think still has us somewhat divided. Fury on the up, IG still with a lot of question marks, Mandy. I don't really want to put it two ways. There are still a lot of questions that we have about where Invictus are right now.
We had a lot of hype behind them, and then I just really struggled in stage. But Fury, I don't know if we can say the same about them though.
Don't know whether Mandy was robot for everyone.
Mandy a robot for you?
But definitely for me and Dev, there was a bit of robotic,
that's great. I
ear
didn't know that-
tickles.
I've always wondered if Mandy was actually a robot, and there you go. That explains.
Did you just
her
call
insane
her a bot?
mathematics.
Hang on a second.
Were you hearing what you just listened
I
to
did.
for the last?
I hope the rest of the stream just heard that as well. But Dev, this matchup in particular, I probably would want to talk about Invictus first because we have a very strong storyline for Fury at the moment. It's obviously been diminished by the fact that I don't think they can make the Major at this point, but Invictus Gaming are still well and truly in this.
Yeah, look, I think you're saying Fury have a pretty strong story. I'd say IG have equally, if not an even stronger narrative running behind them right now, and that's that the super team is finally working, or at least so it seems. They've had some fantastic games. We saw them take a dominant 7-4 of a wild card, and now that Gladiators are near the top of the standings, it also puts into perspective, IG beating Gladiators 8-6 is pretty damn impressive as well. IG even lost in overtime tonight, so they're fighting tooth and nail with the very top of the standings. Also lost in overtime to Elevate, historically a really tough head-to-head matchup. And then last week, what happened? They lost to Chiefs. They gave Chiefs their first win in God knows how long. That was a massive red flag for this team, and one that they're now going to have to redeem themselves from because they are not currently in a major spot, and they're going to have to fight not only Gladiators, but also Knights for that in the coming play days, and they'll need all their points against Fury tonight to try and enable that.
What's crazy here is IG have actually only won 40% of their games, and one of those was in OT. It's the fact that they've lost 3 games in OT that keeps them at this point. So the fact that they've lost 3 games, they still have a round differential of 0, which is kind of crazy coming into the final 2 play days. This is a huge opportunity for them to, I think, cement themselves as a team that, at the very least, can either vie for that opportunity to head to the Berlin Major, or probably we need to set our sights more so to Stage 3. But a team that really doesn't need much of an introduction for Stage 2, Dev, Fury, have been absolutely fantastic. Fury have been one of the teams, I think, that has most blown me away with their performance, and also with where they've come from and where they are now. Like, there's just so much to this roster that I think they can be proud of for what they've achieved.
Yeah, look, it was a rough Stage 1 for these guys. They hit rock bottom, didn't get a single point in 7 play days, and that was a far cry from what we expected them. Back in the day, this was a consistent middle pack team, never quite making it into majors, but also never in danger of relegations. That changed in Stage 1, it's changed again in Stage 2, made 2 roster changes, coming back in, and funnily enough, they have the same win-loss record as Invictus, despite being several places lower on the standing, and it's because of what you said about IG's overtime wins. But Fury are now on the up. They had a phenomenal heartbreaker win against Knights, and as they just spice up ready for the game, they're also potentially going to home wreck for IG as well.
Smell good, look good, you're going to play good, Dev. There's no two ways about it. Mandy, I believe you've joined us again. Is that correct? There we go. You don't sound like the Terminator anymore.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on this roster? Fury have proven to us that Stage 2 has definitely been a lot better looking than what we've seen them previously.
To be honest, I could kind of barely hear what Dev was saying. Y'all a bit robo for me as well. But yeah, the Fury, I feel like they've come into this stage and they've really shown us a lot of progress. They've shown us a lot more progress than they did in Stage 1 at least, which was, although a very low bar to beat, it's still something nevertheless. And they've managed to take down some teams and get some huge upsets that no one could have predicted coming to this stage.
Well, they certainly could have, and one thing that we need to do is decipher the map. Dev, as we look at this, is there anything in particular that you're looking for?
Well, the map that Fury beat Knights on was Villa, and that is immediately Invictus' first ban. So they're not looking to deal with that at all, despite Invictus actually having a flawless 4-0 record on the map. We end up on Bank, which, having a look the last time IG played Bank, was actually against Knights, and they lost it. It was a really close 6-8, but they lost it. In contrast, this was where Fury got their first win of APAC South 2022 against Chiefs, a 7-2. If you remember, they talked about how they used the OSA, and when they lost to Wildcard, they kind of learned that. So I'd actually say this is a pretty even map.
Well, Bank, even territory here with IG and so much on the line. I'm still trying to figure out the actual calculations as to what percentage that they have left in this. But Mandy, IG have to win this in regulation. There is no two ways about it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it makes me feel pretty curious that IG have actually left Bank in, considering Fury's previous result and the progress that they've made on this map. I would have thought that Fury, being one of these sort of up-and-coming teams, would struggle a little bit to have a very diverse map pool, especially compared to IG that have been around for a little bit longer, right? So I would have thought that this veto would have been actually quite linear for IG to take away most of Fury's, like, I suppose, good maps where they've had good results on. But taking us to Bank, I feel like IG have got to have something pretty spectacular. They must have improved quite a lot upon their last loss that they had on this to take it in regulation.
Dev, Bank is a map that I think still leaves a little bit to the imagination. I feel like every game, regardless of the fact that, like we've seen a lot of the similar play styles, I think that there are two very different approaches to this map. Do you expect Fury to come out of the gate swinging here, or are we expecting them to be a little bit more defensive?
I think this is going to be an IG favored game. I think that Fury have confidence, though. That's one thing they're not lacking right now. They know that they're pretty much out of the game, or they are out of the contest for the major, but they're on the up, and I believe in them to come out, swinging. They're going to bring the OSA. They're going to be prepping for the game really well. They've shown that they're learning from match to match, and that's really good for them. So I actually do put the momentum on their side, even though I think IG is just at that level above them.
Mandy, what are we expecting to see in terms of IG? I think that the expectation here is that IG will take this. But one thing that we have seen is this team kind of faltering a little bit when we kind of expect them to be on the better half of performing. I don't know if you were here or whether you could hear us when we were talking about results. They've lost 3 games of their 5 matches that they've played, but they've all been in OT. Is there an issue right now with IG in closing games out?
I think so. I think that the way that IG play, it's inconsistent in my opinion in comparison to the rest of the teams. I think that IG, they have a unique playstyle where they really rely on some individual players to do well in particular parts of the map and look for opening picks. I feel like it's not a very consistent way to play. There's not much of a method to it compared to some of the other teams. And so I think that as a result, closing out games can be hard, although they can find rounds with their formula, if that makes any sense. So I think against Fury, maybe their formula is going to work and they'll close this one out. Who knows? But I assume that this is going to be a pretty close game.
Dev, do you think that could be due to the team of champions? I know that we've referred to this team multiple times as the individually most insane roster I think we've seen for a while in APAC, but at the end of the day, the results just haven't backed. At this stage, yes, more so, but do you think that there is a lack of cohesion because of that?
Yeah, look, I'm just going to address firstly the point that you're making about this team of champions, right? This super team, IG, all these nuts fraggers like Hysteric, Speakeasy, Jigsaw, all really well known for being fraggers. Well, if you look at the current leaderboards for just rating in general, Jigsaw's currently 2nd place after Souffle, but there's actually no other IG players in the top 5 of any criteria. And in fact, Jigsaw has a 1.24 rating next to Speakeasy on 1.07, so almost a neutral rating. Nate's all the way down in 0.86. So it's not really that we're seeing these insane star fraggers who are like going up. Like even if you look at clutches, I wouldn't say that they have that much more. Like they got 4 across the whole team, which to be honest isn't that much more than their neighboring teams. So I really don't think we're necessarily seeing individual shining moments from this roster. They do have some good chemistry and really good plans, I'd say, and good strats, but there's a lot of elements missing, and it's hard to put your finger or point to one specific thing.
Well, I guess that no matter how many issues they have, it's do or die. Right now, they do not have any other choice. They must take away a regulation win if they want to stay in the race for the Berlin Major. It's time to throw it over to your wonderful casters. It's Guz and it's Xenox.
Thanks, Robert. Yes, IG Fury to close down tonight. I don't know why he called you Robert, but it's better than Robbie, to be all honest. Obviously, we're still kind of just bathing in the glory of the Elevate win. And Guz, I've conned you, I've conned everyone. I've just got rid of the goatee. We're just rocking the mo now.
I feel like every time I've seen you tonight on camera, you've shaved one more part of your beard. Are you gonna get rid of the full mo, or what's the
should
go?
we do it? How about if Fury win, we'll shave off the mo and we'll.
I don't know where
back.
you're getting we from. You might. I'm not. I don't want to look. I don't want to look.
I'm sure
12.
you can pop around, mate, and get the Clippers out. But big game to close out, as the desk put it so nicely. While Fury can't do a whole lot more in terms of getting to the major, IG still with a chance must win this game.
Yeah, it's a bit of a strange sort of storyline heading into this one, where neither team is a great chance of making the major. Well, Fury obviously can't, and IG are an outside chance, but still a lot to fight for, and we'll see how this one does end up shaping out. And I think if we take a step back and look at the storylines of the Invictus Super Team and the sort of Fury rejuvenation that is probably going to play out here like it has throughout the second stage, as I try my hardest to drag out this little spiel because Fury are being very slow on this first ban. Ying taken off the board first. Okay. That's going to limit some of the explosive execute potential here on Bank.
So I'm just trying to very quickly see the future as to what needs to transpire for IG. Obviously, need to win this game, all 3 points. Then need to beat Direwolves, all 3 points. That would get them to 14 points, Guz. The question is, do they have the tiebreaker with Gaming Gladiators? The answer is yes. So basically, they need a Knights OT win if they are to go to the major. And that is, of course, because IG do not have the tiebreaker to the Knights. A whole lot of theories and possibilities, but to put it plain and simple, Knights need to win in OT. IG need to win their last 2 games. That is how IG will get to the major.
Sounds to me like their chances are quite slim.
Well, not slim, not good, but not slim. As Bulk is the last ban here, I think this is pretty much a pretty staple-looking ban. Habana, Kaid, and Valkyrie here on Bank. Fury on the defense first, and Invictus will be attacking. Definitely not slim. I mean, all things considered, Knights in an OT win against Gaming Gladiators, it's a possibility.
It's certainly possible. But I mean,
You have to play. If
Well, it's
you're
a 1 in
Invictus, you
well,
have to play. as if
statistically,
you-
right? It's what, a 1 in 4 chance that result happens, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Irrespective of form guides, say
Yep.
25%, and then you take it down again, another 4 chances of them to win their next game. Well, and this one in regulation, right? So it's 3 games that need to go exactly the way they want for them to win. So
Well,
I
two
don't want
of
to throw you
those
under the bus
games,
too
though,
much, but it is a slim chance.
2 of those games are on the back of Invictus, right? So they can just
Yeah.
take care of their stuff, and then it's obviously all just sort of hoping and praying that, you know, Knights end up doing the job there that they need to do. You know, as I said, a Knights win in regulation, and IG don't have the tiebreaker there, so obviously that would see Knights go through. So yeah, it's just that one permutation that if Knights win in OT, it allows IG through somehow. But they have to beat Fury tonight, and then they have to beat Direwolves in Playday 7. The best thing about it, though, guys, is the fact that we start Playday 7 with Gaming Gladiators and Knights, which for all intents and purposes will be deciding the final spot. And if it doesn't, and Knights do win in OT, then IG Direwolves as the last game of Playday 7 could be set up for a big day there. And while we have got Elevate, of course, now secured for the major, there's still more matches to be played. Still another Playday next week to go through.
Fury roaming here for the basement defense. Oryx in play. Open area hatch is open. And IG will need to try and tackle these roamers as best as possible. Jackal is available. He made it through the ban phase, of course, and we might see him dabbled in here on Bank, but for the first round, he won't see any playtime instead. The strat seems to be, let's just send in Jigsaw. Get a drone in front of the man and let him send it forth with the LMG. And this can definitely be a very strong tactic. That Jigsaw is a fantastic mechanically gifted player and probably hasn't been given as much of a spotlight as we perhaps expected here on IG as of yet.
Yeah, definitely, I agree with that. I think Jigsaw's obviously up there. He's the second best rated player at the moment in this stage, plus 20 KD, plus 6 entry. Has been a big reason when IG are successful. Jigsaw's a big reason for that. Unfortunately, Speakeasy, you know, the lofty high highs of stage 1 have not been met here as Hajime goes down to Hysterics. Casually down below. Minute and a half here still left in this round, and this is finally where it's kicking off. Stark gets the trade. Hysterics loses his life after getting the opening kill. And somewhere BG Man just got tagged up too. Now top blue stairs, Dark. Player goes prone. for Invictus. And Dark is not going to be aware of this, but he actually goes up towards top square as Jigsaw with LMG is just going ham. And Invictus now fully in control here on the opening round of Bank.
Yeah, you're not going to win that fight. The high ground superior, now like Collis I9 to hold out for 60 seconds. Does not bode favorably for them. Speak easy on the Osa. We'll be looking to try and get that plant down and apply some pressure. Probably try and bait out the C4 from I9, who's actually in an okay position using the attacking smoke just to cover his position, just to mask, but that will fade away. And he's exposed once more to server.
40 seconds left, but yeah, this is a disaster position to be in. Best hope here is I9 with something with the Nitro sub, but that, I mean, that's just all for nothing. Nice little swing though, gets the down onto Jigsaw. Does confirm the kill. That's at least something. Oh, you don't go for that peek. That will make it a 2 vs 2. Headshot! No, he couldn't see it. Maybe the smoke just blocking a bit of his vision, obscuring it. Nate got that kill. And that has now allowed them through. One final gas bait for Lycolis, but Nate's already on in. And it is Invictus that take the opening round.
Yeah, clean conversion there from IG. Really good work from Jigsaw in the opening phase of the round. Of course, Hysteric should get a mention as well, getting that opening pick inside of Archives. And really, once the Oryx is dealt with, you can relieve a lot of the pressure there of flank potential on a map like Bank. Hatches, or going up through hatches, is the biggest risk, and that was dealt with. And then from that point onwards, pretty clean. Good shot from Nate as well. Did not probably expect him to win that fight, but did a good job nonetheless. And Fury take that as a cue to rotate. We'll go upstairs now.
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many bombs as they can.
Good start for IG. For them, it's probably not even just winning this game, but also building form going into the final Playday as well. Both games obviously need to be won. All 3 points in both have any chance of making the major. For a stage that has been probably, I'd say, the team with the most intriguing matches, Guz. When you really go back and look at their games, OT lost to Knights, OT win against Gaming Gladiators, OT lost to Elevate. Now, what a first 3 play days. And then they defeated Wildcard fairly convincingly. Then they lost to the Chiefs in OT. That's just such an inconsistent stage at the highest order. They've beaten some good teams, but also have lost some games that have left some question marks.
Osa again in play here for the second round, but in different hands. Nate will take that job. And the typical... Oh, that wasn't typical. As Dark jumps out, or I think jumps out. BG man trades. Just let me get my point across, guys. Typically, the plan here for Osa, or the plan for the plant, is open up that northern wall, top left of screen now, sneak in with the Talon Shield, try and get the plant down. Easier said than done, especially if the strong crossfires and the denial, whether that be horizontally or from down below. But the attack can use the power of those repellers to try and cut off those positions. And at the moment, I think that's exactly what IG are going to go for. The big benefit of this push typically is that you don't have to worry as much about stock hallway and stock control. And if you do, it's normally late sweep.
One thing I've loved about Bank so far here in Stage 2 is that it's pretty much been the same kind of results as Stage 1. Beautiful shot. I mean, that's a tough shot for Lycolis, and also a tough shot for Hysterics, and it's Hysterics that wins out. But yeah, Bank has sort of remained around that sort of 50% win rate for the defenders, which makes it that kind of 50-50 map. I think it's one of the more even maps to be played out. It doesn't always have to be the most exciting gameplay, but you generally are going to find the better team winning out on Bank. Most times out of 10. They can't just sort of hide behind a very defender-sided or a very attacker-sided map.
Pressure top square from Fury. The impact grenades to deny the Talon Shield. That's the biggest weakness of this play from Invictus. Now, I don't know if the shield's still standing. I think I saw in the Yokai that it's not. And that's a curveball IG need to deal with.
And they have. They've got rid of Hajime. Now you've got a 2-player advantage still with 60 seconds left in the round. BG Man probably feeling like he has to make a play. Not a bad little moment. The ping, he just hasn't got the angle. Does he just go for the vault out? He doesn't. 9-9 lost his life anyway. And so does BG Man. And it's a pretty clean sweep to start on Bank for Invictus on the attack. They take the opening 2 rounds. Fairly uncontested as well, might I add. Fury have not really been able to get a foothold. It's a great start for IG.
And I think it's probably a result so far that IG are expecting, or at the very least wanting, right? A nice convincing win against a team that they probably should be beating on their best days. Unfortunately for IG, though, no match has really been a given at all through this second stage. Just kind of struggling a little bit, I think, to hit their stride. Back to basement, though, for the third round. So Fury don't want to go over towards open area, nor archives as a tertiary site. They back themselves in here to knuckle down a little bit more. Last time, way too much pressure on site early, and IG were able to choke out those remaining defenders.
Just looking a little bit more clean and clinical right now, Invictus, looking like the better team, as they should. Fury has been good this stage, right? For those that maybe haven't been following APAC South for the majority of the stage, while Fury are, you know, at the moment second last and haven't really been able to, obviously now still compete for a major spot. They're out, but if they win this game, you go to 9 points, and then if they win the last Playday, you go to 12 points. And while that won't be enough to get you into a major spot, 12 points for Fury, a team that finished dead last, no wins, stage 1, minus 34 round differential or something crazy like that. Staggering turnaround. I mean, even the stage that they've had thus far, up until tonight, even if they lose their last 2 games, still a big turnaround from what was, you know, an abysmal stage 1. So either way, it's been a successful stage for Fury, but that won't be the case going into stage 3, right? You kind of now need to show a little bit more. You've been good, you've developed this stage, but stage 3 is going to be all about competing for a top spot.
Invictus with pre-play strains up above. Question will be, do they know that there is an Oryx that has popped up here onto the top floor? They'll have a read if he goes down one of the staircases to fall off. We'll probably just have to wait and see if that's a position that IG actually want to take. But it looks like most of their efforts now focused over towards server. You can see where those drone lines are. You can see where the players outside on that northeast spawn are also positioned. 3 players stacked outside dirt. Mental will just scout it out with the floor. SB easy as well to push forward with the Talon shield in front. And at the very least, they are baiting at some utility. But Fury with a good response here and not allowing them to get control in server.
The Rotero does get the shield though. PG Man though finds a kill onto Hysterics over towards Elevators. That's from main stairs position if you're BG Man. Minute and a half remaining and it's Fury with the player advantage. Jigsaw over towards top square and that push down in dirt not looking good now. Suddenly it's a round where Fury have got control. Established obviously good position on site, shutting down main positions like main stairs, not allowing that server room push. And Invictus have now gone for plan B, and that's going to be a top-down push from square.
60 seconds. IG need a clean take. I9 assisting, like Colosonic down the line. The flash doesn't land. The SMG shots do. 3 versus 5, and he swings for a second, but the canister, well placed, well timed. Timing from Jigsaw as well is good as I9 repositions, and this should confirm the round for Fury.
Jigsaw's the thorn in the side though, but he needs to get a move on. He's got a lot of work to do, so much on just his shoulders alone. Not really getting a whole lot of help from anyone else on this team. General Surge goes out, they get some health back. He's still got one more charge. Jigsaw, blue stairs, spots the elbow, now pushes out. There's another player though watching, that's I9, he gets the trade. There's another player though, I mean it's like ring around a rosy here. I9 actually shifted back, he's crosshair over towards the stairs, and the player had already pushed out and speak easy. PG Man gets tagged up. 13 seconds. Surely, Fury don't lose this round. Dark is in sight as well, behind the bomb chassis. 7 seconds. Can't get into sight though. Dark gets rid of Nate, who went prone, and Fury get their opening round win of Bank.
Yeah, really good job there from Fury inside of server. The reposition as well from I9. Doing a great job in finding the trade, countering the Finker. And with Jigsaw taken off the board, winning the round back was going to be very, very tough, especially without the wall open and other means of utility to clear the objective. So, well done by Fury. In hindsight, a good decision to reattempt that site. And now, forced into the tertiary stuff room and open area, it will be, as has been the case throughout the second stage.
Yeah, you look at a site like this, I can't help but just feel this is IG's kind of sight on the attack to just really open up and really try and punish Fury for playing positions off-site, rather than being able to just sit on site like, you know, you see with Locker's CCTV. Open area stuff is, though, being defended very, very successfully at this stage. 73%, which is actually a pretty large increase where it was 50% in stage 1. So defenders have been successful on open area stuff in this stage, but I still feel like the way that Invictus are looking to play, and Fury probably a team that would rather just sit on site and defend, might just play into the hands of IG. We see though what will happen. Round 4.
Hajime again looking to prep for the roam. Hasn't found much success though so far. Not only has he struggled or failed to get a kill, but he's also not wasting too much time. IG, prepare for the push.
Did I just watch?
Straight in, double door. But Speak Easy has other plans.
I don't even know what to say. I mean, how do you just allow that to happen? But I guess sometimes at this, even at this level, guys, mistakes happen. You just got to move on. Can't get too tilted. Treat it as if Fury just got an opening kill and you move on. Teams are more than capable of coming back from 4-5. Not ideal though to lose not only Jigsaw, but the Finker, the LMG, the Adrenal Surges, so much utility, the nades as well. For nothing, Fury will take it though. Mentalist, how does he lose that? Hajime, to his credit, good turnaround, gets the kill, and Mentalist will be kicking himself for not finding that.
3-on-5. Hajime is low though. There's a window of opportunity here for IG, but Speak Easy has the skeleton key, still makes it work. It's been a strange round so far. Hajime is down. 3-on-3.
Oh, big nade. Forces Dark up to try and get away from that, and that's an easy headshot for Hysterics, and Hajime still down on the floor. So despite the inconveniences for Invictus in this 4th round, they have got the player lead advantage. Only BG Man and Lycolis still standing for Fury, and I think for Hajime, he's just going to time out here. There's no way that anyone's going to go and get that revive. Minute left in the round, and Invictus have done a tremendous job to bring it back, to get themselves a bit of a lead. Can't be too worried about finishing off Hajime though. They need to turn their attention to sight.
I mean, Hysterics has just droned its clear. I don't know what's taking so long here. It's a little bit weird, but anyway, 3 versus 2 now, so the stress relieved temporarily. 40 seconds on the clock.
Time is not good here.
Will push over towards elevator. And it doesn't look great. Lycolis only has a shotgun though, so he's only good up close. SMG though could be okay for the hatch drop. BG Man with bullet hose. This is a really hard round to call at this point in time, but IG with the man advantage should be able to trade it. Yeah,
20 seconds though. They do need 2 different avenues. As long as Invictus don't just funnel in, I think they're about to. I think they're going to get at least 2 towards BG Man, and this is exactly the player you want defending this position, but he's just, unfortunately, the holographic has blocked his sightline of electrical. Lycolis on site did get the kill onto Hysterics inside the open. You can allow that plant to go down and go for the retake. Plant down. Can he get that first kill? No. Prone. And then, oh my god, taken down to 1 HP. Literally. No time now, and with so little health, he cannot put a foot wrong.
Information is available, but still doesn't have the HP to really go for a play here. 25 seconds on the clock, so he needs to move. And Speak Easy's playing it smart. He's fallen back. He can swing late if required, but at this point in time, I don't think it will be a necessity. Lycolis is allowed to creep forward and probably will get the kill here with the shotgun. Gets one,
so well.
Swings for the second, but the timing not great. And Speak Easy falls back in time. IG take the round.
I think he actually played that really well. It was just a time issue, right? And that probably forced him to panic and rush a little bit through electrical. And Speak Easy played that too really, really well. Falling back, understanding sort of what was about to happen. So both players, I think, reading the moment in a good manner, but it's Invictus. They go up 3-1. Sloppy round, though. Sloppy round when you consider the team kill to open the round. Not ideal, but, you know, credit to Invictus. All you've got to do in that situation is laugh it off. You can't get too serious. Things happen. It is what it is. At any level of Siege, guys, these things will happen every now and then. It's not as if it's a constant matter. And hey, you know, for Speak Easy, says 6 kills in game, he's technically got 7.
Yeah, I think he more than made up for that earlier blunder in that round where he took care of his teammate. That early pressure over towards the door.
Location of a bomb.
Bot square. Anyway, 3-1 now on the scoreline. And back up above we go. Last time Invictus tried to go for the Osa strat, where they open up the northern side of the wall, get those Talon shields down, get the plant down safely. However, it was countered pretty well by Fury with those impact grenades, so they've decided to pivot off it, and that's not a bad call.
Invictus now on the verge of really running away with Bank here. 3-1 lead, 2 rounds to go in the half. And they find themselves in a position where they can establish a very significant lead going into the second half. All on them now. Just keep on keeping on. And I think for Invictus, there's not too much pressure, right? Because they're not the team that has something to lose. They just have everything to gain. Yes, they're going to win their games, but because of the other permutation, it's less about them and more about other results, especially in this particular game. Unfortunately for them, in their last game on Playday 7, they will know whether or not going into that game if they need to win or not. The less, I guess, stress in that game, but in this one, obviously, you got to win, and you should be winning, in all honesty, against Fury anyway. I'd imagine for them, it's just all about going through the motions right now and playing a good brand of Siege, building good habits, and must-win game. Treat it as such.
Pretty good start here for IG, opening up that right-hand side of the wall. Mentalist on the rappel, though, does take a little bit of damage as they look to consolidate this position, just scouting out sight. Trying to find where these players are positioned. Jigsaw looks to try and creep into square.
So much proning from IG.
Yeah, really difficult. Those long lines of sight. You can be exposed all the way from front desk. Jigsaw shimmies along the floor.
Like a little snake just slithering on top square. It's worked though. He's in. He's got a good angle. Would love to clear that player though that's loitering around Janitor. We're in a stock hallway as well. I think that shield might still be up with a minute left. That is a cheeky angle underneath the leaf. Speak easy. Looking in towards stock. Nade goes out. That should get rid of the shield. If it was still up. Not sure if it was or not. And the Speak easy closer by. Putting pressure in. But 45 seconds. Time somewhat a factor. Not so much on this particular site though. You can get the plant down in red time. Don't need a whole lot of time and you don't need too many chances. Mentalist, good kill. Onto like Colas. And I think this is really going to kickstart the round.
Echo, though, still in play. So we'll see if that has an impact in denying the plan, feeding information to the rest of the defense as Nate looks to stick.
20 seconds, he's getting through most of it now. Hysterics off of Banana Stairs, found the kill onto Elevator and onto I9. He's finding kills onto everyone. Now through the hallway, Hysterics winds back the clock. And he was considered one of the best in the region. And they just showed us a reminder that he still has what it takes to be one of the best in the region.
Yep, well played there by Hysterics. I think going for a pinch there was a really smart idea. Outside of the Jaeger, no one was really clued in to that back push, and try as they might. Very, very difficult to take down Finker LMG at the moment, so props to Hysterics. Read the situation well, played into it. And yeah, I mean, at this point, IG are running away with it a little bit.
Yeah.
Fury will try and salvage here in basement.
Well, it's the rounds, Gus. Like, it's, you look at, sometimes you can see a 4-1 scoreline and go, oh, but it's maybe not telling the full story. Where you got those close rounds, 50-50s, etc. Maybe it's just not quite gone the way of Fury. I haven't sensed that. It's been pretty much on IG's terms this entire half. Everything that's been going on has been down to just IG. IG are doing this, IG are doing that, and it's basically down to how are Fury responding. Now, in fairness, obviously when you're on the defense, there's only so much you can do, but where's the aggression? Where's the counter plays? Where's the alternative strategies? We're not seeing anything. It's stock stand defense on Bank, which I just don't think cuts it on a map that can, at times, favor the attackers.
Attackers must locate and defuse a bomb.
This
Totally.
is better, though, straight away. Like, look at this. This is so much better.
Would you like to elaborate as to why?
Well, I think adding in the Vigil really does mix things up in terms of getting that late round flank on a site like Locker CCTV. You're going to be having IG pushing in, going for server control, looking to obviously establish a foothold. But more importantly, if you can actually also still hold above, looking down through the hatch in towards CCTV, that offers you a chance to not only deny the plant, but also still hold that vert above. So then, if IG send anyone sort of roaming around square area as well, that's where you can catch them out. So ultimately, this is kind of like an ace up the sleeve now for Fury.
Hajime almost got timed top square
He does
there.
get droned out, though, on the Vigil.
He almost got timed when he went to shoot the drone at Vending Machine. There was a player top square, but he gets away with it. Well played, ultimately. Gets a few drains for his troubles, and Dark senses that he's in danger now as well and will also retreat.
But even then, even if Hajime from this point on doesn't really go for an aggressive roam, doesn't really go for a big play, he's still in the back of the minds of IG now for the rest of the night. Okay, they got a Vigil. Okay, we saw him over here. He might be anywhere at any time. Fortunately for Invictus, Mentalist on the Jackal, you know, can kind of keep track of the footprints throughout the map as well. So that's going to help. And now they already know that they saw Hajime going down main stairs, and you can keep control of main stairs as well, which obviously for IG, they don't have to go for a server room push here.
Certainly don't. And with a minute 20 to go, they will need to formulate a plan pretty quickly. Server is free though, so they should be able to shape up on that side of the map if they desire, and they have open area control as well now onto the hatches, like Colas. Antsy again on the smoke. He falls first for Fury, and any role that he could have played in slowing down that server push has been distinguished by the attack. And in a 5v4 on basement, Invictus now in a very favorable position.
It's under a minute remaining. Invictus feeling like, again, the team just on top in the round, and Jigsaw having an extra avenue of attack really just adds more spice to the attack of IG. Yes, server room push, but you've got the player main stairs too. Nate's going to be opening up this CC wall. And look at everyone's attention right now for Fury. They've got eyes trained on site. No one is going to be able to stop Jigsaw. If there is absolutely no idea that he's on main stairs, he's going to find 1 or 2 kills at minimum.
Stokes plays Overwatch on the hatch as Jigsaw waits patiently for his moment to pounce. Nate pushes in towards site and should be able to get the plant down.
There's no denial. Darks is gone immediately. There's the 2 kills, and there's the round. Everyone had eyes on site. No one could stop the player getting on site. And then because they all had eyes on site, no one was going to be able to counter Jigsaw main stairs. Just rushes down, finds 2 kills. But even before that, the round was over, Gus.
Yeah, that was just waiting to happen, really. A snowball effect in that round. And IG just clinical about the way in which they approached it. Smart, methodical, didn't rush it, but also didn't take forever. They really struck a nice balance in that round. Now with a 5-1 lead heading into the second half, we will repeat basement as IG want to defend it first. And very, very tricky to see Fury coming back into this game at all.
Yeah, I just don't see it. I think, look, it's hard to say for Fury. They can't make the major based off results that transpired earlier tonight, but I would hate to think that if they had a chance to make the major that they would have played like this, you know. But then it's like, you can't really win, and I don't want to pigeonhole them into this really bad mentality that, okay, we can't win, so we're not going to try. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that if the spot was on the line, this would have been very, very disappointing. Because the spot's not on the line, it's kind of like whatever. It doesn't matter in the end, right? But ultimately, I expected a little bit more from Fury. I actually did predict them for this, although every prediction tonight has been a failure for me.
That means absolutely nothing. Your predictions have been horrible.
I think I'm going to be 6 and 18 on the stage. So, Jordan who?
It explains why you don't get gigs, mate. You gotta up your prediction game. No comment?
Well, I mean, you're the prediction king, and I don't see you getting gigs, so really, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Hey. None of that. It's a bit too personal, mate.
Oh, here we go. I9. No. Player beep is not going on through. Jigsaw and Hysterics over towards main stairs. It's Fury obviously on the attack now in the second half, and the map has well and truly gotten away from them. Invictus have been too clinical, led by essentially the old heads, the old duo of Speakeasy and Hysterics. Generally, it's been the Jigsaw show in recent times, but OG is standing up here for IG.
I9 with a good position inside of open area, and the hatch is open. Downstairs as well opened up, and so far it's actually been pretty easy goings for Fury in terms of bank. Not much in the way of pressure in open area. Server as well forfeited. So INVICTUS quite confident in their ability to deny the plant itself. They have the smoke on the board. They have the Warden with Nitro as well. Impacts even. The threat of the Osa still looming. So this last 60 seconds is going to be some year one bank basement.
With the talent shield.
Ariana.
Oh, the nade from Jigsaw blowing up right in his face. Aspabe will dissipate very shortly. Still two more though for Mentalist. Throws one out. Jigsaw gets the opening kill onto I9. PG Man is getting a little bit antsy and in fact finds a position to push him behind the Talon shield. Diffuser will be going down successfully. And with that shield, it can make life difficult now for IG to get the counter defuse.
Well, Nate has 2 impacts, so he needs to have an impact of his own in this round. 30 seconds remaining though, so time not really an option. Players going up main to try and flank open area and top square. But
Jigsaw
Dark falls. Jigsaw too sharp with the MP5. Hysterics now as well, probing over towards this top square position, trying to hunt down Blue. The EG man taken low. He's off the board. Low Colas, the last one left, and Fury have slipped in this post plant. 10 seconds though. IG need to get on. Nate needs to stick. Lycolis with the down. The swing with the pistol. Nate has to fall off. Doesn't have time. Lycolis will get them all one by one. Even if Jigsaw lives, it's for nothing. And Fury somehow hold on in that post.
Fury, more like Lycolis somehow holds on in a 1 versus 4. I think there was about 18 seconds or so that he had to hold on for, and boy did he do a tremendous job. Lycolis, stand up, take a bow, you've won the round for your team. Incredible moment, but unfortunately too few moments for Fury in this map. Still have them down 2-5, but maybe just a Kickstarter for them, guys, off the back of that round.
Yeah, a little bit messy there right at the end from IG. Nate jumping off the diffuser under 7 seconds. That's a fallacy in Siege, because even if he gets the kill, he can't get back on. He's better off just sticking it and hoping that he gets coverage. Ultimately, he probably wouldn't have, because I don't think server hatch was open from memory, right? So, yeah, it just got a little bit messy there, ultimately. And, yeah, fell apart. Like Holes, though, full credit to him. Stepping up when it matters and playing it really quite smart. And had a really good read as to the rotation coming through from the defense. We move onwards, though, to the top floor. IG still in search of that match point. And again, needing 3 in this match, so can't allow Fury back in this game.
Attackers recover.
Yeah, and it can get dicey pretty quickly. You lose that kind of round to a bit of a hero play from Lycolis. 5-2. There's another round, 5-3. Before you know it, it's 5-4, and the game is all but alive. For an IG team looking to keep their hopes of a Berlin major spot. Need to close this one out before Fury get any ideas of a comeback on bank. Certainly doable, certainly possible for a Fury team that has shown the incredible amount of improvement here in stage 2, but you would think from 5-1 down, and it's surely too much for a team that really doesn't have anything to play for now.
Located by attackers.
Cheeky use of the Rotero drone from I9, opening up the left-hand wall. No reinforcement on it at all from IG. That's now an entry point. Jigsaw tucked in the corner in a rat spot. At this point in time, he could escape. No one's on the immediate rappel, but perhaps he wants to play for his life here. Back himself in with the keeper barriers to stay alive and counter that entry point. Speak easy though, he's dead. Hajime with a grenade over towards stock hallway. The magnets and the ADS is not covering that projectile.
Jigsaw though, again, finding a couple of big kills in the last few rounds, but this time it's I9 that finds the kill onto Jigsaw. Nate, what are you doing?
No!
Nate! Do you have something to show the class?
Well, we can talk about that in a moment. 2v3. IG still in with a shot. Diffuser on the deck. Hysterics with a good line of sight, and Mentalist as well. Look how many angles there are. Really complex to try and track all of these, whether you are on the attack or on the defense. Fury, someone went on the rappel. That's like Colas. Now cutting off the cross. So Hysterics and Mentalist now jammed into a corner.
And Hysteric stands up. It's been a big game from him. 12-4.
Attackers have recovered their
30 seconds left. Diffuser gets picked up by like Colas, but Mentalist going for the big plays this round. But the standout star, like Colas, who did it in the last round, can't do it this round. Shut down by Hysterics. Match point for Invictus.
Yeah, like Colas there on the rappel, couldn't quite cover that cross. The airlock, double windows, whatever that call may be for some people, not opened up. Don't know if he had summers left, perhaps didn't. Anyway, snowballed from there, couldn't clutch it out. 6-2 the scoreline for IG. Nate, with not only the worst knife I've ever seen, but also the worst timing. Regardless of whether he hit the knife, it wasn't going to matter, but certainly an intriguing sort of display there. Anyway, IG still won it out in the end, and they'll look to close it at Staff Room Open Area.
Very convincing result as well if they close this out 7-2. For reference, when we go back and look at Fury this stage, guys, it's been all but competition and competitiveness and even matches and really giving their all in all of their games. Their worst result this stage is 5-7 loss. Now, obviously, that's happened 3 times. So it's been a bit of a trend for them, that, you know, the 5-7 loss, yada, yada, yada. But you look at this kind of game, and I think they'd be spewing that they don't get a 5-7 loss now, because this has been, unfortunately, just a bit of a blip in what's been a good season for Fury. It's their first time really getting beaten, like really sort of dismantled by their opponent. In all their other games, you go back, 5-7 results. In those losses, maybe 1 or 2 of them, you would even say they were a bit unfortunate to not go to OT. They were a bit unfortunate to not find the win. It could have been easily 7-5 instead of 5-7. But in this game, for the first time this stage, they've been soundly beaten.
And there's always that big asterisk that's going to hang over this result, which is that going into the game, Fury knew they can't go anywhere. So honestly, they probably don't really care all that much, to be completely honest. Which, look, people will have their opinions on that attitude, or even if they had that attitude, I have no idea. It's just pure speculation. So if they do get smacked around a little bit, then it's hard to fault them, especially when you consider that they have improved this stage. I think it sets up a potentially quite exciting stage 3, really, for Fury. All they need to do is tidy up a game or 2. Remember, they lost to Wildcard, right? They had a very close result to Direwolves. Those flip, this would be a very, very different game. Fury would be in with a real shout for that top 2.
Yeah, that's kind of the stage. I think you could probably say that for every team bar the Chiefs, really. You look at Wildcard, you look at Direwolves, and I think they'd all be sitting back and saying, well, yeah, 1 or 2 of those results here or there would have been the difference maker. Go back to that Playday 5 matchup, Wildcard, Elevate, back and forth. 5-7 loss for Wildcard. Imagine they win that. They did not, though, and Fury have not. For Invictus, there's not even really much room for celebration, guys. It's a bit of a somber affair in this win, because they know that they have to beat Direwolves in Playday 7, but they are also going to be cheering on for the Knights.
Yeah, tough week next week for IG. And even if they do their absolute best and 7-0 Direwolves, it could be for nothing. We'll see, though, what happens there. Nate, Archives, he's had some bad rounds so far. He's been unlucky a couple of times. Frantically gets rid of the Gemini and is able to fall back. The Nitro in response, it lands.
Got him!
The swing with the SMG. Patient now. Creeps forward. Holds down the line with the shotty.
Is that Sapper? Or is that Nate? We'll find out shortly. 4 versus 4. 45 seconds left. Will this be our final round of this match, or can Fury extend This exchange on bank. Nate sitting inside of Archives doing his best Sapper impression. He swings, timing, maybe not the best, and no, definitely not doing his best Sapper impression at all. Goes down far too easy, too like Colas. Nate, a little bit questionable with that one. Hajime then gets the kill onto Hysterics, and suddenly Fury have a significant advantage. Speak Easy though, lined them up, but just couldn't quite put the nail in the coffin, and Jigsaw top square by his lonesome in a 1 versus 3, 10 seconds. BG Man putting that diffuser down, but Dark is the one that puts Jigsaw down for the count. We carry on here on bank.
I actually genuinely think if Jigsaw went for the bot square flank there through double door, he would have won the round. I don't think it was being covered. Perhaps it was the third player. Difficult to see. Either way though, Fury get the round. Good push through Archives in particular. Nate, fortunately, it feels like every time we go to his POV, the man's just getting bombarded from every direction. Back down to basement though, and I think IG will be very comfortable here.
Well, this is though better from Fury, right? Going down swinging is all you can really ask from them at this point, and I know it's a bit of a meme, but if they can get this to at least a 7-5 loss, guys, I'd be honestly happy for them. I think just that would be so big for Fury going into the final Playday. That's still their worst result would be a 5-7 loss. That would mean no shellacking, no one-sided affair. If I was Fury right now, I'm just putting all my stock into at least getting the next 2 rounds and just forcing that 5-7. I don't care. I think that just says a lot about this team. Even when you're down and out, you can't make the major. It's like, what, 6-2, 6-1, whatever. You're still fighting. You're still looking for those rounds. You're still trying to see if you can send it to overtime even. And I think that says a lot about them. They play Elevate in Playday 7. Unfortunately, complete dead rubber. As Elevate have already qualified for the major and Fury can't make the major. So not much will really come from that to Thailand rivals. But it's a good way that Fury can sort of finish off this stage strong. And it starts here. A couple more rounds to go. I know it's match point. I know it's tough. Not much to play for, but dig deep. See if they can find a couple more rounds against a pretty good IG in this game.
I guess the other storyline as well, and it's always difficult to discuss this like in the second stage, for example, because we don't have the foresight to what's going to happen next year. But these kinds of matches could have relegation potential, right, or implications, because Fury heading in are still the lowest placed team, regardless of their improvements in the second stage. And actually, they need to step up big time in Stage 3 to avoid finishing in the bot 2 here for APAC South. So we'll have to wait and see exactly what the format is and all that jazz. But nonetheless, I think that's, again, a continuation for Fury heading into that third stage. Not only are we expecting improvement, but they need improvement to be able to survive here in APAC South.
Yeah, unfortunately for them, that Stage 1 was so bad. I don't see them getting out of a bottom 2 scenario. If that matters, we don't know, but I mean, Wildcard are still consistently okay enough that they're getting enough points. They're not like, dead last. Chiefs, you go from a top position to a bottom position, so it all evens out. So yeah, I don't see a way for Fury to get out of that, but I think that shouldn't be the worry for Fury. It should all just be about their performances. It's been a better Stage 2. Dark gets to kill on the Speakeasy. They are going down swinging for sure here on Bang. Minute and a half left. They've got the player advantage. They got server in position too. And IG on the defense just look stagnant. They don't really look like they've got anything to throw at Fury. It's on Fury to win this round.
Hope you're doing all right there, Jake. Don't choke up. We might still
just
have a few rounds to go in this one. As BG Man goes in with the Talon shield, able to get that on the deck. 4 impacts though in response. Jigsaw, Nate, they'll be lining those up, ready to throw them over red. Exactly where that plant's looking to go down. The first one hits. And that's a good response though from Lycolis. So good on this site once more. And with 50 seconds left, it's a 5v3.
Just so good in this half from Lycolis. He's been on a different level in the second half. Fury fighting tooth and nail to make sure that they go out with some dignity intact. Hajime finds the kill onto Hysterics, and suddenly it's maybe not even so much about evening up the scoreboard as it really is about sending this one to overtime. From 6-2 potentially to now 6-4 and maybe even flawless. No, Mentalist will put an end to that, getting the kill onto I9. Oh, he expected the player main stairs. He stopped looking at it at the unfortunate time. And an easy kill in the end. And suddenly, Fury have won a couple of rounds in a row. Is it tack timeout time for Invictus, guys? Are we putting an emphasis on that? Mentalist says, you know what, Xenox? Yes, it is time for a timeout.
probably a good call. I think now is the time. Fury are creeping back into this game, which is surely going to be a little bit unsettling for IG. And unfortunately for us, we didn't really see how that round kind of unraveled. Fury are able to find these picks in positions where you wouldn't expect them to be finding them, and able to just steamroll through the round. IG not being able to respond as well, and a lot of their key players not quite activating in the last 2 rounds. And now I think for Fury, they probably have some pretty genuine belief they can actually win this game.
Well, there's a mood shift as well there for IG from what we could see before. You think back to when Speakeasy got that accidental team kill onto Jigsaw, and they were all just smiles and laughs, and you know, it didn't matter. Just a couple of long faces at the moment, and clearly not happy with the last couple of rounds. 3 of the last 4 rounds have now gone the way of Fury, and they have the ascendancy here. And obviously still 2 more match points to get through, but I tell you what, storming home towards an OT for what could be one of the bigger upsets. Remembering, guys, that for IG, they need all 3 points. 2 is not enough. We need to put emphasis on that.
Very true. So we're creeping into a serious danger zone now. A match that probably should be over.
10 seconds left before insertion.
Now it gets quite exciting. So far,
5 seconds.
it's been a little bit slow going, to be completely frank, but Fury are certainly putting on a bit of a show now.
Use a bomb.
I think just how deep they can push this game. How far can they push IG? In terms of the setup though, up above, Osa in play for the attack. Stock hallway going to be a point of interest for IG, but they aren't bringing a shield.
Located a bomb.
I think the clear from Fury has been very decisive so far, so instead investing that utility elsewhere. Impacts are going to be critical against that Osa. Bulletproof, good counter information. Barb is always nice on mainstairs and Banana. And Mentalist with a Nitro just in case.
Fun fact with Xenox for the night, guys, it's taken a little while, but IG has not lost a game in regulation. That will continue, of course, by going to OT, but they have the most OT losses out of every team in this league. 3 overtime losses for IG. Talk about anti-clutch. We're kind of seeing that in the last couple of rounds now here in the second half. And as I said before, it's as plain as the blue sky. If Invictus do not win in regulation, they cannot make the major under any circumstance. 2 rounds to find hope.
Clear as a blue sky, certainly an interesting analogy.
Very clear, mate. Unless
But
it's
fundamentally, you are
cloudy.
right.
If it's a cloudy day, then no, I
It's
apologize.
starting to look a little bit cloudy on the horizon at the moment for IG. It's not completely clear skies. Maybe Fury to come in with a downpour late here, we'll see.
Oh, Weatherman does.
That could be a
There's not a
future
lot of time.
could
There's
be a
not a lot
future-
of time.
be a
And
future
9-9
career
gets the
path.
opening kill.
Could be a future career path, maybe.
All right, mate. Come on.
70
let's focus on
seconds
the
late,
game.
we'll tune in. Talent Shield's now going down. I think Fury are pretty keen to open up the wall. There was a mute jammer on it, so we'll see if it gets cleared. I think it has. Hajime as well setting up outside of stock. He can get across if he's able to enter that position. I9 going on a really long rotation himself now over towards Banana, and they're looking to just put these puzzle pieces in the correct position before they go for the Xe.
Does anyone from Invictus even have eyes over towards Banana? That's the other question as well. Speakeasy still concerned obviously with stock, so is sort of Nate over towards long desk. 35 seconds though. Fury did a pretty good job in getting above top square. Like Colas finds the kill onto Nate. BG Man coming in for the plant. Does it get denied? No. Jigsaw has to push up Nate. That Nitro Assault from Mentalist is so big, but Hajime finds the kill onto Speakeasy. 20 seconds left. Not a lot of time. Jigsaw, he falls as well. Only Mentalist remains. He's already used that Nitro Assault. Pushes out a Janitor. Hajime says hello. I'm here to crush your dreams of a Berlin major. 1 round to go. Invictus must win this round or they cannot go to the major at all.
Unbelievable. And this match really encapsulating the struggles that IG are having at the moment. often find themselves in good positions, but being unable to close out games. Your stat before proved it. OT losses. The Kings and APAC South for that statistic, and not one you want. And whilst this might end up being another OT game, it doesn't matter what the result is. IG have to win this round to keep the hopes and dreams alive. Fury at the moment playing spoils and doing a really good job at it.
Is it another 7-5 for Fury though, Guz? They've been in this position more than any other team this stage. 6-5, match point, other team, Fury need to win to send it to OT. They have failed to do it every single time. I don't know what else to say. They have not ever been able to win this 12th round when it's 6-5 to the other team. That has not happened this stage. Will IG be the first team to allow that to happen? And if they do so, they can't make the major. What a collapse from 6-2 up that we are seeing before our very eyes.
The script writers in APAC South having their say once more, and they are being incredibly cruel this stage, keeping us all on the edge of our seats. If you're an IG fan, again, they must win this round. It won't book them into the major, but it keeps them alive. They lose it, they're done. No second chances. Do they know the stakes? I don't know. Either way, they need to take it a round at a time. I9, Archives, he is in. Oh, good quick control, and the Jaeger of Mentalist under pressure being pinged.
He's getting red pinged, he's getting yellow pinged, but I9 does not rush. I think he really wanted to see if Mentalist would push out. He's droned. Mentalist knows that his position is known. But I9 does not make a move. I don't mind this. How many times do we see teams when they're on a bit of a roll, they get aggressive and then maybe too aggressive and they overstep? But not in this instance. If you're I9, he's played this so patiently. I think he's just more concerned about the position in Archives Guz rather than getting the kill onto Mentalist.
Yeah, he doesn't want to expose himself to the cross. And he knows if he goes for the spray and misses, he will be traded probably by Hysterics, or at least pressured, and his position will be known. There's a lot of people probably in chat screaming, why did he not go for the wall bang? If he lands it, he looks like a hero. If he misses it, he's going to look like a fool.
Oh! He gets the kill! Mentalist just walks through the doorway! The nightmare of Invictus is becoming reality! A collapse of historical levels! Jigsaw in elevators, get him out of there! He needs to be on the front line finding kills! Not hunkered down with no way out! But Fury turn their attention now to Square. They go for sight. They feel as if they have OT in their grasp. I9 inside of admin. Can they send this to OT? The wall bang doesn't land. He saw it for a brief moment. Gives away his position. Under a minute left.
Needs to be so careful of this swing. His position revealed, but he can just hold now. The Keeper barrier actually offering him protection. I9 needs to not overpeak this. Try and sync it with the rest of the team. Now boxed out. Has an Ash charge. 40 seconds for Fury, but Hysterics goes big, and it's a 4v4.
Combination with the Keeper barrier of Speak Easy. They shut him out. 30 seconds, 4 versus 4. Invictus must win this round if they want any chance of going to the Berlin Major. Nate, headshot with the SMG-11, stands up big behind the bomb chassis, looking to deny them, but Hajime with the nade elsewhere. Found the kill into Hysterics. It's all happening at the moment here on Bank. 3 versus 3, heading into red time. The Keeper barrier in your way. It stays up for the time being, and Nate holds his ground inside of Staff. Speak Easy. Jigsaw still up. Nate leads the front line. Shut down by Light Colors and Dark! Fury have just decimated all of IG's hopes of a major spot! The nightmare has come to fruition! It's overtime, and the major is gone for Invictus Gaming!
What a twist, what a turn. IG falter to the hands of Fury, who stepped it up. I9, what a round. What a way to crack things open. And then the execute. Nothing IG could do.
It's a disaster.
The scoreline, and IG now ruled out.
The first team this stage in APAC South to allow Fury to push past the 7-5 threshold. The first team to collapse at 6-5 match point against Fury. And the last team to miss out on the spot at the major, leaving us down to just 2 teams remaining. Gaming Gladiators and Knights. Primetime Playday 7. First match of the day next week. Winner will go to the major. IG cannot make it anymore in any way, shape, or form. And for Fury, guys, when they were down 6-2, all I was saying for them and all I wanted from them was to fight back. Doesn't matter if you can't make the major anymore. And boy, am I so impressed with these guys. So impressed. And in some ways, as biased as it would be, I want them to win this game because they've shown so much more. Determination, want, fight, vigor, everything. IG have looked awful.
An absolute disaster for IG, but it sets the stage for an uncontested battle between Gaming Gladiators and the Knights in the final Playday. Gladiators do have an advantage, so Knights need to still win in regulation, but no third party for that contest. Our attention, though, goes back towards the game at hand. Like Colas enters for the first. Speak easy, shut down. Mentalist does find a good trade, and so far Mentalist actually, in my opinion, has been playing quite well, but not good enough apparently.
Well, you look at Hysterics 14-8, Jigsaw 9-10, Speak Easy. I mean, like, you look at the numbers for IG, and they're not awful, guys. They're not bad. They were up 6-2. Everything was fine. They were laughing. But Fury as a team, led from the moment that Lycola's got that 1v4 clutch, since that point, it's just been a Fury onslaught. And really setting the tone for this team going into stage 3. I know we got one more Playday. I know they'll play against Elevate. Going into that, it's complete dead rubber. But this is a team that has a team that I think if they play together, they improve together, there's something there. There's a little bit of that spark in this Fury roster that can maybe do a Direwolves, guys. You remember back to Direwolves, no one ever thought that they would be a team going to a major. But now, for Fury, you're in this OT position, right? Now you've got to close out. This is a team that has not been to overtime this stage, guys, ever, in stage 2 of APAC South. So, new territory for them.
Now we see if they can actually convert this into an OT dub. And in doing so, would actually jump above wildcard and surprisingly tie Wolves in the standings. It could be pretty insane. With the Playday to go, the smokes go out, Dark drops, and Finka is alive. And he just ran past the player, but the second is awake.
Get up, get moving.
20 seconds left, 3 versus 3, and in some ways, maybe the hype and the sting has gone out of it since that result to send it to OT, but IG finally fighting back here to start overtime. They close out strong in this round, and you just wonder where was that for the last 5 rounds, guys. Overtime match point for Invictus, but it literally means nothing. Timeout for Fury, who obviously will want to win this match now. They've forced the issue. They've gotten to this OT position. You may as well go the distance. But for IG, it's just now also a time for them to be sitting back and thinking, what has just happened?
Well, it all started with the 1v4. IG lost the unlosable round. A basement retake. They lost it. And of course, there were preceding rounds in which they got outplayed ultimately by Fury, but that's where it began and they just couldn't crawl it back. And you would expect a team with this amount of experience and this level of skill to be able to achieve it, but they just were not able to. Fury with the timeout will settle it back down. Pretty hungry to get this win and continue to mount points towards the standings, as I did just previously mention. They can actually jump up above Wildcard, above Fury. Pardon me, above Wildcard and above Direwolves. Sets themselves up for a pretty exciting final Playday.
Well, they go above Wildcard regardless because they've gotten to overtime. That gets them to 7 points. So above Wildcard and really does shape up Playday 7. Chiefs versus Wildcard as the real battle for bottom. And obviously for Fury, can they go the distance here though and get the extra point? As you said, it would put them above the Direwolves. Gets them to 8 points. I don't think they'll beat Elevate. I think Elevate are good enough that obviously they're not going to want to play, you know, the strongest Elevate. They'll probably just play to the book and play standard Siege, but I think that'll be still too good for Fury and Playday 7. But 8 points on the stage cuts. I mean, you'd be taking that. If you go back to stage 1 and you say Fury's going to get 8 points in stage 2, I would have said, no, you're lying. This was a team that had 0 points. 0. Minus 30-something round differential. They were not competitive. Made a couple of changes, picked up some good players. And now, suddenly, you've got a team that is a team. They fight, they don't give up. All their losses have been 7-5 at minimum. No blowouts. They've not gone to an overtime, though. Even their wins were rather convincing. You know, 7-2 against the Chiefs. 7-4 against Knights. That one a big result back in Playday 5. Hence why I kind of tipped Fury for today off the back of that. And that's why I was so disappointed at 6-2. I was like, this is the Fury we have not seen this stage. But boy, have they shown up and done a solid over the last couple of rounds to really make this a spicy affair. For Invictus, I mean, even if they win this round, it's nothing.
A bomb has been located.
The Gemini shut down by BG Man over towards top square as Invictus scout for info. Fury fresh off the back of that timeout though. Wanting to get this round. Jigsaw takes his eyes off stock. Will he be timed? Sterix gets the opening pick. I9 down below on the pulse feeding information, but I don't think that information is going to be there just yet. Probably can have a bit of a read though on those repels, but contesting that will be tough. Invictus boxing Fury into a corner right now. All the positions they're holding, all the crosses, all the repels. Quite powerful. Fury will be looking to try and make a play to get themselves back into this one. And I9, a perfect example, a player trapped down below. Jigsaw holding his exit.
Minute 17, advantage to IG. It would be a sour win, but a win nonetheless. Jigsaw. And in some ways, if they do win this in OT, I do give the plaudits to Invictus. It would be mentally draining to know that any hope of a major gone, snuffed out by heading into OT, but to then still not throw in the towel and to still look for the win where you can find it. Jigsaw gets an easy kill on I9, just a little bit caught by the drone. You do have to give credit where it's due, but Fury had done the job by sending this one to overtime, and Invictus fortunately will feel the pain after this game when they realize they cannot make the major in any way, shape or form. Nate with a big kill onto BG Man. Nice turnaround again from Jigsaw. Round is over, game will be over, but in all honesty, guys, it was over after the 12th round, wasn't it?
Yeah, it really was, and like Holes will try his best. Gets one, but it's difficult to get excited. Diffuser on the deck, the post plan up top, impossible to retake. Mental's looking the wrong way, but these kills, again, really for nothing. And an opportunity, I think, now for Invictus to start reflecting upon this match. It started off well, a 5-1 lead. Then they needed 2 more rounds to keep their hopes in the major alive. But it slipped from their fingers. Like Coles desperately tries to get back in the round, but Hysterics will offer the final blow. IG get the win in OT.
Invictus do get the win, but unfortunately, not much else from this. The overtime win is not enough to see them still have a chance at the Berlin Major. We are down to 2 teams remaining that do have that said chance of the final spot that is available. Gaming Gladiators and the Knights, who do battle on Playday 7. The APAC South scriptwriters are forever still ingeniuses. They will be setting up a tantalizing match to kickstart Playday 7 next week. For now, though, of course, IG